Now look, there's a bit of a love-hate relationship with Cheez Whiz. Some people say it's absolutely disgusting, and some people can eat it right out of the jar with a spoon. Most of the time you're in one camp or the other. Let me know which one you are. To me, when I was a kid, you go to the skating rink or the mall or whatever, and you get those little nachos and dip it in the Cheez Whiz, and that's what it was. They said it was nacho cheese. It was Cheez Whiz, trust me. Or the Philly cheesesteak sandwich. Traditionally, they use Cheez Whiz on that. If you've ever gone to a ball game, they might have the cheese sauce you dip fries in. We don't do fries anymore. But guess what? I can still have the cheese. And while technically I guess you could consider Cheez Whiz keto, it's got a ton of bad ingredients in it. Things that you just want to avoid, like these seed oils. Look at this list of ingredients here. I mean, the first thing that sticks out to me is that they've got milk, they've got maltodextrin, they've got molasses and corn syrup in the Worcestershire sauce, and they say there's no sugar in here. You can see it right there. It says 0 grams of added sugars. Those are the hidden sugars that you want to avoid on keto. And then you've got your canola oil, which is your seed oil that's super inflammatory. You've got lactic acid, sodium alginate. I mean, just stuff in here that does not need to be in there. A milk culture. There's just so many bad ingredients in here, and technically they don't have to say that any of those are sugar, even though just about all of them contain sugar. Or other ingredients you just don't want to put into your body. Just some nasty stuff. So today I want to show you how I'll make my version of Cheez Whiz with whole ingredients, good for you ingredients, so you can enjoy them with my keto tortilla chips or any kind of food that you like a great cheese dip on. I mean, to me, you could probably put it on a cowboy boot and it'd still be delicious, but won't go there. Anyway, let me show you how I'll make my Cheez Whiz right after this. Now, after looking at all the nasty stuff on the back of that Cheez Whiz, I think you're really gonna like these ingredients that I've put together for this. And when you go places, even as far as a Mexican restaurant, you really never know what's in their cheese sauces unless you see them make it fresh. So I want to show you my version of this. You'll know every ingredient that's in it. You'll know it's going to be delicious, and I think it's something you're going to want to make again and again. I know I do. So let me show you all the ingredients you need to put together this keto version of Cheez Whiz with no bad seed oils, no ingredients you can't pronounce, and something you can feel good about eating because you know where it comes from. Let me show you what you need to put together this Cheez Whiz. Now, the first thing you're going to need for this Cheez Whiz is some cheddar cheese. And at least do sharp. You could do extra sharp as well, but it needs that bite. The Colby cheese is what we're going to use because basically all those ingredients mixed together that we saw on the back forms like an American. And this Colby is kind of going to take the place of that American cheese taste. So the combination between this cheddar cheese and this Colby cheese is going to give it the taste that we want. Now you're also going to need some heavy cream. This is going to form the base of the Cheez Whiz. Get whatever kind you like. This one's from Aldi. You're going to need one of my favorite condiments, the Worcestershire sauce. This gives it a nice little tang. There's just that little taste in there, and they use it in the ingredients, so I'm going to use it too. You're going to need some cream cheese. You're going to need some paprika, and as much as I love smoked paprika, you don't want to use it in this recipe, just use the regular version. And you're going to need dry mustard. Now, if you don't have dry mustard, just use about a teaspoon or so of regular mustard. Now we got to grate our cheeses. So we're going to start with this cheddar cheese and go ahead and grate it fresh, just like I'm doing with a box grater. And then just take this Colby cheese and just rip the cover right off of it and go ahead and grate that up. Now you know that I always grate my own cheese because when you buy it already shredded, it's got the anti-caking ingredients, and you may have heard me talk about this in one of my other videos. Unless you need your recommended daily allowance of wood, don't eat it. Now we're just going to measure this out. 2 cups. So a cup of the Colby, a cup of the shredded cheddar, and we're going to make sure we got as much as we need, and we'll move on to the next step. Hey, if y'all like these dip and sauce recipes, and you're not subscribed, click the little subscribe button down there and hit the bell next to it. And anytime I upload a new video, you'll know about it. So we're just going to take our sauce pot and we're going to put in a cup of heavy cream. And then we're just gonna go ahead and go over to the stove and we're gonna start heating this up. Now you wanna put it on a medium heat and make sure that you watch this carefully, because if you've never done this before, if you boil that cream, it's gonna take off. It's gonna bubble over, boil over, and you might have to redecorate your kitchen when you're done with that. The next thing we're gonna do is just start adding in the cheese. So I'm gonna whisk it. This is already at a medium heat, so I'm just gonna whisk in that cheese a little bit at a time. I'm just gonna do it all. Just get the whole thing in there. You can use that whisk, it's not gonna hurt anything. And just keep on whisking it up until that cheese is in there and it's getting pretty well combined before we put in the next ingredients. We'll go ahead and add in that dry mustard. We'll add in that paprika, and remember on the paprika, just use regular. Don't use smoked unless you don't want it to taste like Cheez Whiz. And we'll go in with that Worcestershire sauce. And now that all our flavorings are in there, we're gonna go ahead and go in with the little bit of cream cheese. Now this is an essential part of it. And of course, if you don't like the way that you did it the first time, just take it out and do it again. It'll be fine. And now we gotta start stirring again to mix in that cream cheese. And you can just see how that cream cheese starts to work in there. It's bringing all the cheeses together. It's gonna all combine. It's gonna give it a real creamy texture. Don't forget to throw a little bit on the stove so you can taste it. That's real important. You can kind of see how it's getting a little bit stringy in there now. And now you can really see how it's starting to come together. It's getting that Cheez Whiz color. It's getting the texture of the Cheez Whiz. Oh man, this is gonna be good on whatever you decide to put it on. Now what we have to do to finish up the texture to get it just right is we gotta cool it. So take your favorite bowl, pour it in there. Oh man, right now, it's like a cheddar soup, but just wait. I'm gonna show you what's gonna happen. So now let's go in. This has been probably 10 minutes or so. It's starting to thicken up a little bit, but does that look like Cheez Whiz to you? No, not to me either. That's still like a cheddar soup. So we gotta let it cool just a little bit more. So after about 20 minutes, this is the texture that you're at. You can kind of see how it's up on the sides like that after I stir it around a little. So it looks just like the way that it does in the jar, or just like the way it looks on the side of nachos. But we gotta give it a test. Get your spoon right on in there and check this out. Look how thick that is. That is a perfect Cheez Whiz consistency. It'll even tighten up a little bit more, and once you put it in the fridge, you're gonna need to take it out and microwave it to get that consistency that you want for the Cheez Whiz. And this is what it looks like once it's been refrigerated. You can see just exactly how thick and nice that is. That's a beautiful sauce that you can use on whatever you want to use it on. Oh, it's so good. Hey, if you want to know, in my opinion, what's the best thing to put this Cheez Whiz on, I'm gonna put the video right over here. If you haven't seen it, you're in for a real treat. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.